as you get towards... Hey guys, Craig from Crank and Surf, and I wanted to do a video about the big three, or what we call the big three in the surf industry, about who owns them, because we've seen a lot of stuff lately where brands are cutting surfers. They're not supporting contests as much, but they're still making a great deal of money from the surf community. So we're talking about Billabong, Rip Curl, Quiksilver, and I guess we could even throw Hurley in there as well. So let's look at this. So Billabong. So Billabong and Quiksilver are actually owned by Authentic Brands Group. Now, that is a company that does a lot of retail space. So they do a lot of brands. Now they own, I'm going to put glasses on here because I write really small. So they own Quiksilver, Billabong, Roxy, RVCA, Element, and Von Zipper. Now, Authentic Brands Group is actually owned by a number of what we call investment businesses. In the US, they call them LLCs, which basically means an investment company. So, Authentic Brands Group is owned by CVC Capital Partners and HPS Investment Partners. So they're there to make money. But in doing so, they're also destroying the soul of the surf industry. Rip Curl's a little bit different. So you obviously, it was privately owned, and it's been sold to Kathmandu, which is KMD Brands. So at least they've got another clothing kind of thing, but you still kind of think they're getting away from the surfing. So there's guys in boardrooms making decisions about just making money, and they're not actually part of that surfing crowd. They're guys that have never surfed, so they just don't get the industry. Hurley was an interesting one when I looked it up. So Hurley was actually sold to Nike, but now it's owned by Blue Star Alliance LLC, which is one of those investment companies, and brand management. Again, they own a lot of different brands in fashion, so they're more focused on the fashion because that's where the profit is. Just hit the thing. Most clothing you buy in a retail store is marked up by at least 100%, and that's a minimum. So there's profit there. So yeah, all these brands that we grew up with, they're basically all owned by investment companies. So what we're starting to see now, though, is coming out the other end, you're starting to see Former, which is Dane Reynolds, I think Craig Anderson, and then you have Rivia, which is Julian Wilson, and now Ryan Callanan has just bought into it. So there are a lot of smaller independent brands popping up, but again, clothing, so it's better profit. There's not a lot of ones that are making surfboards. There is one in Hawaii that's just gone back and got sold back to the owner, which is I think it's Eric Akawana. Yeah, so he bought his label back and he's making surfboards and that again. So these things can happen where you buy the brand. We have seen Instinct, which is Sean Thompson. So we have seen those brands restart. Things like Piping Hot in Australia, Golden Breed. There's a few independent labels, but then you have like Vissla and stuff like that. Don't need these now. So the industry has gone through a bit of change. As I said, the companies that were started in backyards and garages, your Billabong, Quiksilver, Rip Curl, they eventually were going to have to be sold. They couldn't stay private all the time. It's just unfortunate that these LLC companies, investment companies, have purchased them, stripped a heap of surfers out to cut costs, cut down on contests. So they're basically, these companies put money into surfing all the time, and they were legitimate. And they've stripped that out. It's kind of gone, which is really sad to see, but other smaller companies are stepping in to take their place. So there you go. That's who owns the big three. None of them are privately owned anymore, sadly. And they're all owned by investment companies. So there you go. Hope you got something out of it. So when you're buying your Rip Curl stuff, and I just bought a pair of boots, as you'll see in the last video, you're not supporting local sort of companies anymore. You're doing more global investment things. So yeah, good luck. Okay guys, catch us later. Bye.